The EPA did find spotty levels of asbestos. A sample on a police car turned out dangerous. Another sample a couple of blocks away, not dangerous. But most interesting, in the mix, they are looking, they think, at specks of steel that used to be beams and elevators, marble from the lobby floor and facings. So what were once the strongest architectural elements in the two towers were pulverized, large portions turned into clouds like this one. Still, there is this mystery. If some of the hardest materials were vaporized, how to account for the presence everywhere of paper?
Search for bodies and the search for clues. And yet there are no people to be seen.
They pulled out a couple of Port Authority cops alive.
Last night, right? Last night?
Last night, this morning. Supposedly they were like on the 80th floor from what we heard. But that's it so far.
I was here when they extricated the police officer at 8 o'clock this morning, who was in very good shape, actually, amazingly enough. I think right now it's just going to be a very slow process of digging through rubble.
You know, Doctor, it seems to me that it must be very frustrating to be a physician and to have really so few patients to treat here.
Well, for example, is significant that it will help keep these visions, these images in people's minds for the days to come. That also leads to a lot of the anxiety.
It's just a huge cloud of smoke.
Just in dealing with the people that I've come in contact with, I notice a lot of people whose moods are fluctuating somewhat wildly. I mean, at what point do you look at someone and say, okay, they're just obviously under a lot of stress, and when do you cross the line and say someone may need professional help?
That's an interesting question, because I think right now everyone needs professional help. Everyone that was involved, everyone who's had family involved, everyone who's seen the carnage on TV, people jumping from burning buildings. I think all of those people need to be debriefed, if you will, in some way. Usually those things will get better as we get further away from the traumatic event. The people that will need intense treatment are the people that don't get better after several weeks, after several months. And there will be a small percentage of people that will have symptoms that increase. With the last World Trade Center bombing back in the mid-90s, we had people complaining of symptoms related to the event a year after the event.
You know, at the time, I was thinking you can read a couple things into that. Either people are buried and they're going to start bringing bodies out, or just everybody died.
Where are all the people who were in these buildings?
The buildings were built, the structural support of the building is the shell, is the skin of the building. I remember when they were built. I'm a New Yorker. The innovative architecture of it is that the outer shell is where the strength of it is, and I think what happened is the whole thing imploded. It was like a chute that went straight down.
What does that mean to the inside?
It means that the explosion has nowhere to go except down. I think another building collapses, there's toppling, pieces fall off, there's a diffusion of the energy, and in this collapse, the energy all went straight down. And I think that, tragically, anybody in that chute did not survive. I think it probably had the force of close to a nuclear blast.
At 10:30, I tried to leave the building, but as soon as I got outside, I heard a second explosion and another rumble and more smoke and more dust. I ran inside the buildings, the chandelier shook, and again, black smoke filled the air. Within another 5 minutes, we were covered again with more silt and more dust. And then a fire marshal came in and said we had to leave because if there was a third explosion, this building might not last.
But this morning's statistics threaten to overwhelm the flickering hopes of finding many alive amidst the tons of debris. New York Mayor Giuliani.
We now have a count of 94 bodies that have been recovered, 46 of which have been identified. We have the gruesome and horrible situation that in many cases we recover only parts of bodies, and we have 70.
You know I love you, and I'm stuck in this building in New York. I'm waiting at the building where a bomb went off. We don't know, but there's lots of smoke, and we just wanted you to know that I love you.
Floors is kind of still intact, so I'm hoping that most people undergrade, well, there might be a lot of voids, but unfortunately most people that were above the first few floors, very little hope.
Go again. That's another one. Hours after the attack, many smaller explosions rumbled through downtown.
We had some time to get some of the people out, but then it was those secondary explosions and then the subsequent collapses. So I don't know how many people were in there. I know there was a lot of firefighters, a lot of public safety personnel.
Like the welcome of spring, like the light that you bring to the skies that were empty and gray.
All appeared to start at the top and then just collapse the rest of the building by the sheer weight of the top. There was no explosion or anything at the base part of it, but I did see that the top part of it started to collapse. The walls started to bulge out, bricks, glass things coming out, and then it collapsed in on itself, and it appeared to just fold down from there, from the very top.
Thanks, Don, very much.
Chairs, we even saw airplane chairs, over the place. That was
really?
Unusual, yes.
Though, as always, the intelligence community has gone almost immediately to Osama bin Laden as a principal suspect. And we don't know why they have done that, but it seems to be.
And all I could think of was just to get away from there, to get to safety. And as I kept walking to Canal Street, I could hear yet another explosion behind me. It was truly one of the most frightening moments I've ever lived through.
And it was this big explosion. I don't know if it's just like what you just seen. That's what we went through before we came out of the building. Then when we get out the building, then another smoke cloud came. We had to go through that smoke cloud again. We saw a shadow. It looked like a plane. Next thing we know, it was boom, boom, and the floor started shaking. And then we saw debris fall down. And next thing we know, we had to get out of the building.
Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
To be right now. You gotta get back from here.
I know that. All right. Get back. All right. Don't worry about me. You need to make calls right now.
Countless souls crushed beneath. Some of them, we're told, were on the phone, saying farewell to their families as the building burned. Some of them, the firefighters, the police. There, not by order.
Big boom. Come down the steps. Everything fine until we got to the basement, and then everything just fell in. I got trapped under there with another guy. Crawled out, kept getting hit in the head, had bags rolled around. Finally, we clawed our way out over the rubble. Yeah. Come on down. We did all right. All right, way to be, Tom. Let's go.
Oh, baby, all that is simple and good lives in the places you stood. The things that are pure and true paint a picture